What's up, everybody? All right, so this is my super duper deck, huh? This is probably, it has all those kind of bells and whistles to it. It has the jeweled lotus in it, which is really nice. I mean, obviously, that's kind of just like all you need, right? It's just like one seriously strong card. I suppose like I could find like a mana crypt or something to like, add in. And I think I'd probably take out some sort of form of like tutoring with some of the creature tutors we have. Just came to my mind like maybe a trinket mage. Like if I was to ever find a substitute, I could even just like take out a land, like. So what do y'all think about that? Like, is that what you do? Like when you start adding fast mana, you just kind of start cutting lands? I mean, I suppose you could do that. I suppose so. I guess it's an option. But I'm curious what you all think about that. But as it is, like, just being able to play this, for instance, with a Jeweled Lotus on turn one, that could just be like extremely strong. So I've done it before too. And this card is really sneaky. Like, it's like just kind of chilling, kind of accruing value here and there. And then like all of a sudden it's like you can just have some really devastating turns for your opponent where, you're blinking skyclave apparitions. Perhaps maybe you have a glass pool mimic on the board at the same time. And you're just like exiling all the permanents with 4 mana cost or less from the battlefield. It's just like really strong. So we do get some good cards for this deck to kind of like bring us over the top. It definitely can go wide with like cards like Urza. You can get like a lot of constructs and such. There's a new card called Thousand Moon Smitty. I still need to go to the LGS or either just pop some packs over there and just like, open them up until I get it. Cause, I think that's going to be fantastic. So yeah, Thousand Moon Smitty is like that, 2 colorless, 2 planes. And it basically, when it enters this battlefield, you create like an artifact gnome, I think, that's power and toughness are great, equal to the number of creatures and artifacts that you control on the battlefield. So it's just very strong. And just being able to blink something like that with Brago is just like fantastic. So without further ado, Brago, the King Eternal, 2 colorless, 1 plains, 1 blue. So we get those Azorius colors. Get those nice energy artifact vibes, some counterspell kind of shenanigans. It gets all the value. It's like a value, like people just want to live in Value Town, right? We get flying on this guy, and whenever Brago King Eternal deals combat damage to a player, exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under the owner's control. So enter the battlefield. Clauses in our cards are going to be very important for this deck. All those kind of enter the battlefield triggers gets much more valuable with another card like Brago on the field, because we're going to be able to essentially double those up each time. For instance, like you could play, you can play like a, the Smith, Ingenious Smith. The turn it comes down, and then all of a sudden you swing with Brago, and then you can blink it back, and you can just accrue more value the same turn. So yeah, it's just the value over the span of the game is just fantastic. So this is just definitely one of my stronger decks, I'd have to say. So there's the Jeweled Lotus right there just to start off. And why Jeweled Lotus does so well, again, like I just kind of mentioned it before, but if you just go ahead and play, like, for instance, Plains on turns 1, and then your Jeweled Lotus, you can sacrifice your Lotus, float 3 blue, and you're just living in, like, Black Lotus fantasy land. It's just amazing, right? And you get to play a first turn Brago and just, like, never look back. So this card was fantastic. I really highly suggest going ahead and going, if you have an opening of the Commander Legends, I think, is that the set this is, I don't know, what are the sets that, this one was Commander Masters? Yeah, I think that's the name of it. I opened probably like a total, like maybe 6 booster packs, and I didn't end up pulling an Avacyn and a Jeweled Lotus in the same pack. It was insane. So I guess I got like, I went way over value, right? Like just extremely lucky, right? But you can see like those are just a draft boosters. So, I mean, if you really want to like kind of look for some of these higher power cards, they're kind of just sitting there in those booster packs. Even in the draft packs, you can just like, you know, pull them. So it's fantastic. So there's a Jewel Lotus. We'll just kind of sift through here. Let me just kind of yeah, there we go. Just kind of get out there just a little bit. And we'll just kind of go over the deck a little bit, but basically you're gonna see like a lot of artifact synergy here. We have to ramp somehow with blue white. So we're gonna play a decent amount of mana rocks. We're definitely gonna be taking advantage of our affinity for some of these artifact creatures. These are just all gonna have those enter the battlefield triggers, like the Thought Monitor is fantastic. We will have like an Urza vibe here. So we're gonna have like the Might Stone, Weak Stone. Urza's gonna be able to like, you know, maybe we can meld those two together one time. That'd be really fun. So we got Urza here. Combat Thresher, this is a nice prototype card that enter the battlefield. You draw a card. If we blink with Brago, it'll come by a little stronger and we'll draw us an additional card as well. So yeah, I mean, and then, so then we're gonna play like an abundance of these kind of 2 colorless cards, artifacts that when they come in the battlefield, they draw. Because with Brago, we can just keep re-blinking them, right? I kind of mentioned these before. These are just like kind of like the 3 mana creatures that tutor for things. Trinket Mage is insane, right? Because you could fetch up a Jeweled Lotus with this, or like a Soul Ring. It's just a completely busted card. So Trinket Mage is really sweet. Here we go, just going through the lands. Got some removal here, of course. We have a lot of good removal, actually. Like Swords to Plowshares, Lorn of the Third Path. This is some really sweet removal overall. We have our, you know, more fast mana here, our Signets and Talismans. Some Swift Boots for Brago to get on the offensive and kind of give it some protection. Seems really good with the boots. Thought Vessel, more mana rocks. Oh, also with the mana rocks, which are nice with Brago, is that you could tap these for mana earlier in turn, and then when you swing for with Brago, you can blink them and have them come back untapped, so you can have like some more additional value phases. Gandalf the White, this is going to go really well with Elish Norn, the Mother Machine. It's just another ETB doubler for our legendary and artifacts, specifically with Gandalf. What's cool about Gandalf is he has flash too. He also has like this interesting ability for like things that exit the battlefield, artifacts. I think is it a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield. So those leaving triggers can go well too, which is why we kind of put the Solemn there. So for instance, with the Solemn, if it dies with the Gandalf, we'll go ahead and draw 2 of those cards because it's leaving the leaving trigger. When Solemn Simulacrum dies, you may draw a card. Additionally, like it would double the enter the battlefield trigger as well. So Gandalf is just a pro here, obviously. Aether Channeler, just like one of those just super sick cards. And I'm so glad I have it in this deck. I'm just really pleased with it, that it has all these different modes. The return target non-land permanent to its owner hand is actually just wild, right? And it's on a body too, so you can just keep like re-blinking this thing and just kind of making your opponents just like have like living in a literal nightmare. The One Ring is just decent. Like, of course, it's gonna draw us gas. It's an artifact, so it's just on point with our artifact theme. And we can re-blink it, not for the protection part, but maybe to reset it if we're starting to take too much damage. Razortide Bridge, just we have some artifact lands in here as well, so that's kind of nice. Iron Crag, just a bunch of rocks. Skyclave Apparition, this is like probably one of our best cards in the deck. And it just has the ability to just start exiling an abundance of permanents with a 4 cost or less. And we just basically re-blink it. They get a spirit back. They don't even get the former card. It's just a really wicked card, and really takes any value out of your opponent's cards, really. There's some cool lands here. Lembas is one of the newer 2-mana cards that will basically, you'll get to scry and draw a card with it, which is nice. Ganjo, castles. So we have the castle in here. Urza. This card just went off the last time I played this deck. It's just an amazing card. What can you say? It's just re-blinking this over and over again. It's just so much value. And then we can also tap any untapped artifact we control for adding blue. It doesn't even have to be a non-token. Tap an untapped artifact we control to add blue. It's so strong. Big fan of Urza. Super cool card. Super strong. Cityscape Leveler, just because it's like an artifact deck, and the freaking Cityscape Leveler is sick. There's no like even like blink effects. I don't have anything that like really synergizes with this. It just is what it is, man. It's the Cityscape Leveler. Can't really say anything else about it. Bobble for a little bit of mana there. More artifact lands. This is the Tribute Mage. Kind of mentioned like maybe like, this is very good, but maybe substituting, like we do get a lot of value out of our cards already, so perhaps I could trim this for like a mana crypt if I wanted to even take this deck even like further, down the wormhole, I suppose. But it's pretty busted already. Emery, Lurker of the Lock. This is, you can have some really crazy sequences in this deck where you could basically just play this on turn 1, just with a different amount of artifact lands that we have, and all the artifact synergy we have. You can get Emery down, at a very quick rate. So, big fans of Emery. Definitely a big fan of her. Ancient Den. This is just more artifact lands. Ingenious Smith. Ichor Wellspring. 2 cost. Excuse me. Yeah, this is just like kind of that, again, once a 2 colorless, draw a card when it comes on the battlefield. This one also has a leaving effect too. When it's put into the graveyard, draw a card as well, which is kind of interesting. Resto with Ganjo. You can just like blink this thing over and over again with Brago. Just keep getting that plains, and then doing that thing where you're basically putting a card into your graveyard and then bringing a card with mana value 2 or less into your battlefield. I just love like going back and forth through chapter 1 and 2 with Brago. It's really fun. The Mightstone Weakstone, just another great blink target. Just fantastic. Elspeth Conquers Death. Whew, this deck has got some juice, guys. Some serious juice. Elspeth is just another card, just makes your opponents like have a bad time, and will make you put you in a nice position. Just the power level of this card. It has a lot of modes on it, lots of chapters, so you'll be exiling any permanent with cost 3 or greater on chapter 1. Then on chapter 2, the non-creature spells will cost our opponents 2 or more to cast. And then we can also return a planeswalker or a creature card from our grave to the battlefield on chapter 3. So it just depends on what we're looking for. We could keep re-blinking it. We could let it go to chapter 3. Reprieve. A little bit of return magic there. Draw a card. Have some nice kind of filter lands here. Have a big mama jamma here. So, we will be kind of working to create like a board state with our creatures. Definitely Urza is a key card. I think the Thousand Moon Smitty is going to be fantastic too. And this card is just going to be kind of another puzzle piece to that. It will just help us finish games. The Archaeomancer's Map. This is one that just helps us kind of stay with our opponents. Maybe they're playing a lot of lands. We can kind of keep up with them. Fetch up lands from our library. Ornithopter of Paradise, just another mana rock here. There's Elish Nor and the March Machines, very similar to Gandalf. This is the Oil Slick. I definitely treated myself to this, and it's a beautiful card. And this Elish Norn just shuts down our opponents into the battlefields and doubles ours for any permanent. Any permanent that we control. So it's an amazing card. What can I say, man? A 4/7 too. So I just love the Elish Nor Mother Machines. This goes in like all my EDH white decks. Reality Acid, kind of like a skyclave apparition type of thing. Maybe even like a little scarier actually. So it actually will just kind of have the opponent sacrifice it once once this leaves the battlefield, and we keep reblinking things, so whew, it's really brutal. Delay. This is like just a counter spell. Just you know, it's kind of easier to cast than just like a regular counter spell. It just has a 1 colorless, but we really haven't had too much problem just like casting regular counter spells. It's just a little more redundancy. Psi Mastodopterus. This is kind of goes into our token building. We want to kind of build a board state. You know, some creatures actual kind of work to finishing the game, so that's fine. Psi is very good to that. Also going to draw cards. Disruption Protocol, a perfect counterspell for this deck. We'll just tap an artifact. We'll just act as like a 2 blue counterspell. So offer you can't refuse. This is another very strong counter magic card. The Nitpicking Nerds also kind of featured this. They're really sold on it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's good to see. It's interesting that I didn't see like kind of more standard play, because it does just kind of handle so many things. So take it for your will, but offer you can't refuse is really solid. Skrelv Defector Might. So I believe we're playing the Giver of Runes in this deck too. So we have those 2 like kind of protections creatures. I think they're very important for your like blue-white decks, white decks in general. If you're looking to protect your creatures, Skrelv and Giver of the Runes are very nice choices. So fantastic. Love Skrelv. Counterspell, just there's our counterspell. Yep, there's that one. That's just battlefield tap unless you control 2 more basic lands. Okay, just more dual lands. This kind of went into like our Emery kind of, you know, turn 1 Emery, you know, like Mox Amber artifact land. There you go. That'd be a way to have a turn 1 Emery. So, and then more additional mana on top of it when Emery hits the battlefield. So there's definitely some busted things that can happen in this deck. So it'd be interesting to do that. Thibblethip, this is our nice legendary creature that will, when it comes into the, enters the battlefield, we get to draw a card. We do have like kind of some legendary matters here too, like with even with Gandalf. So Gandalf would help this trigger twice. Yay, Gandalf. So sick. So there's Giver of Runes, there's Glasspool Mimic, we had mentioned that earlier. Moonshaker Cavalry, our big finisher. So what a bomb, dude. It's like a white Craterhoof Behemoth, 5 colorless, 3 planes. It's funny, the last time I played this deck, like, I was just kind of like, you know, lurking around, and, you know, I was doing the thing with the Skyclave Apparition, Glasspool Mimic, exiling a lot of things, and I played this on a turn, and, like, I basically killed everybody, and, like, some of the opponents was like, wait, what happened? It's like, yeah, man, the Moonshaker Cavalry happened, and everybody was dead. Because, yeah, this thing just came down, gave all my creatures flying. I had a bunch of creatures on the battlefield. They all got +6/6. And they just swung in for a lethal. So, I mean, that was it. So there's the Moonshaker Cavalry. We got the Skycloud Expanse here as well. So that's kind of cool. I just want to kind of read the... just 1 second. I just want to read what Brago does exactly. When does permanents come back after he blinks them? I'm just curious about this. Oh, okay, so combat. After the combat damage. Okay, I was just thinking, I was wondering, like, could we do some even crazier things with Moonshaker there? But I suppose if you had, like, first strike on Brago, that'd be kind of cool. That could do some interesting things with the Moonshaker. So here's Prophetic Prism here. This is, like, I think my favorite 2 mana colorless, you know, enter the battlefield, draw a card. I like it a lot because it can, like, just fix mana too. It's so good. You know, for a 1 and a tap, you can go ahead and, like, fix your mana. You know, it's just great. I just love the Prophetic Prism. It's such a cool card. Cyclonic Rift. This is just a really, you know, very strong blue card. And it's just basically for the 1 in the blue, you just bounce a single non-land permanent. It is an instant. And then you can overload it for the 6 colorless and 1 blue. And then each of our opponent's permanents have to go back to their owner's hand. It's very devastating. So, whew. Yeah, it's really strong. So there's that. And just some planes here. Soul Ring. Lightning Greaves just for Brago to get in a little faster. Thriving Inspector, just a fantastic 1-drop for us. It's going to make us some more clues. When we blink it, we're going to get more clues to use. It just builds our artifact synergy, and we can draw cards, so it's just perfect. Charming Prince. This is like, we'll like create like kind of that Yorion loop that we might want to see with some of our creatures as well. So we do have that kind of built in for the deck. You can also get some other value too here, the Charming Prince. For instance, scry 2 or gain 3 life, or like I mentioned, exile another target creature we own, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so keep moving here. There's Oswald Fiddlebender, can help us get to like some of our other artifacts. We can chain those things and look for some of the combo pieces. So very nice card there, Oswald. It's good for artifact decks. Felwar Stone, once again, more mana. Yorion the Sky Nomad. This deck initially started as a historic brawl deck, and I was playing Yorion as my commander. Brago is not available in that app, but Yorion is fantastic, and you could just basically put Yorion in, as the commander for this deck, and then just do just fine. You would be fine. But Brago is a little cheaper, and it's a little more powerful. Just the fact that you're just blinking like over and over again. You don't really have to play Ephemerate or things like that, because Brago is just gonna keep doing that himself. Whereas in Yorion, you're gonna want to like work on chains and stuff, and try to work on those to form like a win con. So if you're unfamiliar with this, this is from the Ikoria set. And when it enters the battlefield, you exile any number of non-land permanents you own and control, and return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of your next end step. So just like a mass blink effect, and they all return at the end step. So here's the Ambitious Farmhand. Just more value for our Brago, just blinking these. I like this one because it can fetch a land, and sometimes you just need a land, not exactly a card, but a land. So this is a great card for our opener to kind of keep us on a nice curve. Esper Sentinel, fantastic 1-drop here. Just going to be very good to draw some additional cards here. Island, we do still play Ephemerate because it is just very good with our blinking cards. I'm actually pleased to see it in here. But yes, Ephemerate is very solid. And that is just basically has that rebound text. So we exile target creature we control, then return to the battlefield under its control immediately. And then rebound, if you cast a spell from your hand, exile as a result. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast that card from exile without paying its mana cost. So it's like a double blink. Really cool card. In the Mind Stone. And this one was a Sun Titan, but I'm gonna just put in a Thousand Moon Smitty. So that's the deck, man. That is the Brago deck. As we customarily do here, we're just gonna kind of just shuffle this up a little bit and kind of just get a vibe for kind of what we're working with. We'll definitely post the list on Moxfield too. And that's been very fun. I appreciate all the people that tuned in. We're thankful I posted the Greasefang deck. I know it seems Greasefang is definitely a fan favorite. So yeah, that was very fun. I hope I can kind of bring some of you guys into the Mario world, because I think she is just a wonderful commander as well. And this is just like one of the older commanders. He's just very strong. So. Oh my God, it's crazy opening here. Yeah, that's just, that's it, right? That's all you really need, I guess. I mean, I don't even have to look at the other cards. I just have to see this right there. The mana looks great, and an Urza Saga. That's just crazy, man. I probably wouldn't like even pilot this correctly, to be honest, but I have a feeling like I could do well enough. Basically, I'd probably just lead off with, I could just shock in the Hollowed Fountain, play Jeweled Lotus, get our guy going, and then work on a Prophetic Prism to get value there. Probably play Urza Saga on turn 2. Get some constructs going as well, perhaps. I'll definitely I mean, the Swiftfoot boots, you don't, I mean, that would be nice to put on Brago as well. So that probably could be something that we could do on turn 2, I suppose, but probably best actually just to wait for turn 3 for that so we can sequence that, but probably definitely Prophetic Prism on turn 2. We can blink that and get some value at least from Brago in case he got removed or such sooner than later. So, I mean, do I have to even look any further? I mean, I think that's just like kind of, I mean, it looks like I'm going to get through a couple lands and artifacts here. Oh, it looks like we're going to get that Tribute Mage and Talisman and Elish Norn in this game. So we're just going to be accruing a lot of value. So, yeah, that's kind of the, I think like that's, very interesting. Like the power level of some of these cards is just kind of wild. And just kind of seeing it there like in a sequence, like, they really make your deck do the thing a little bit faster, huh? So I guess is that an appeal? I mean, sometimes commander games can go a little further, I suppose. So maybe just basically higher power level, more money put in means like just faster games. Yeah, is that like the equation? I suppose. Well, that was interesting. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll check you out sometime later. Bye.